And today we're going to be talking about the big hot topic, the tariffs, which in some categories it's going to change quite a bit in the automotive industry. Starting around March 31st, we could potentially see an increase from anywhere $5,000 to $10,000 on certain vehicles. Hyundai and Genesis has about 2 months of protection on their pricing, so you don't have to worry if you're considering Hyundai or Genesis for the next couple of months. Ford is also giving employee discounts, so that is something that's pretty awesome in the sense of with this tariff situation. GMC is going to be adding about 225 to 250 jobs in the United States in the factories to kind of offset the tariff costs. Ferrari has increased 10% last week on certain model vehicles. BMW for the M350, it doesn't have an I anymore because that's for their electric line. They have increased the power. So now we're going to have 417 horsepower, the same torque at 369 pound-feet, but it's still going to be less than the Supra's over 420 horsepower. So I'm kind of excited for 2026 because we're going to have a lot of fun vehicles. Also, the iX5 hydrogen that's going to be going out in Europe. Toyota and BMW have been working together with the hydrogen technology. So I feel that the future is awesome in that category because we're finally getting away from fossil fuels. Because when you're using hydrogen, what's burning out of the tailpipes is vapors or water vapor. So it's just something that's finally kind of coming forward with everything. Hey Ethan, how are you? The X5 also for the refresh for 2026, we're expecting to have kind of like a shark nose. The grill is going to be a little bit different for the kidney grill. I'm excited to see how the refresh is going to pan out, but there isn't any word for an M variant. They're going to have a plug-in, they're going to have a M60 model, but they will not have the actual M that will be coming out for 2027 as of right now. Mazda's new CX-5. Great, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. The Mazda CX-5 is going to have its own in-house for the hybrid. So I think that's a great move. The CX-50 that we have some reviews on, they are using the Toyota powertrain for their hybrid technology. So it's kind of like getting a Toyota, but you're getting the suspension and the upgraded components in the interior from Mazda. So I like that they give you that option, but basically you're getting a Toyota. I hope Mazda gets rid of that annoying screen. Yes, unfortunately, there isn't anything really that's come through the grapevine for that. They're going to be keeping it probably the same. Hey, James, how are you today? Nice to see you guys as well. The main focus really is the powertrain. One thing that is coming, though, Hyundai, and I'm guessing it's going to be in Genesis and Kia, they're changing their screen. It's going to be larger portrait screen, similar to Tesla. That's going to be integrated in some 2026 models. I kind of like the one screen, two panel layout, though. I feel like the one screen in the center that's abnormally large just takes away from the look of the dash and kind of puts an eyesore. I mean, let me know what you guys think about that. Going back to the tariffs, Porsche Porsche is going to be affected a lot. Also, Volkswagen. Volkswagen has said, I actually wrote it down because there's just a lot of stuff. Volkswagen said they're going to raise production in South Carolina, and Stellantis is also going through a lot of issues with the tariffs as well. So if you're looking at any of Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, consider the prices to go becoming, it's going to increase the price. There's really no way around it. Even though they are adding more production to South Carolina, it's not going to take the heat off of it. They don't really have enough facilities in the U.S. right now to fix or offset the tariffs. The tariffs can go up about $5,000 to $10,000 of an increase per vehicle. So depending on what you're looking at, Toyota has said that they're not going to raise the price. So I'm interested to see how long that's going. My estimate is still really where it's going to be about December. You're going to start seeing a lot of flux in the pricing. So if you are looking to buy something, consider it before then. Who is moving? Oh, they're not moving cars. So Volkswagen is just going to produce more vehicles in the US. So ultimately, the shift to all of this, like I've said, it's going to take some time. So even though they're inquiring or they're moving it to certain plants in the United States, it's not going to be something that's 100% quick. Like GMC's adding 225 to 250 jobs. It takes time to fill those jobs. So while that's being filled, Some of the companies, I believe, they were saying we could possibly see an increase in the next few weeks. But because companies like Ford has said, we're going to give employee discount. Toyota has said they're not going to increase price. Genesis and Hyundai, they have a price protection for 2 months. I'm really thinking that the price increase will not affect anybody until at least 6 months or right around December time. Trump did so good with these tariffs. I'm so glad America is going to be making its own stuff again. Like I say to everybody, I think that the tariffs is what years ago we should have done. The problem we have implementing it now is people are racing to try to get a good deal, and it's going to increase the price. There's no way around it because you can't make a factory that quick. Plus, you can't employ the people that quick. So it's going to take about 2 to 3 years for anything to really lower in pricing. That being said, we shouldn't be giving things free to other countries. We shouldn't be not charging fees that other countries are charging. And that's a lack of responsibility of what our country has been doing. And it sucks because it's coming out of our tax-paying money. On top of that, we're paying more money now to fix the problem. So when you start looking at it at that perspective, it's not good because all these things should have been done back in like the 80s. So that way everything would have been offset and we wouldn't be seeing premiums on any of these vehicles. The thing is, though, the U.S. will lower its tariffs if yeah, and that is true. Ultimately, we have allowed countries to take advantage of the United States. And I'm not saying anything in a good or bad way. It's the political people that are in place, the lobbyists that have allowed this because they have been making billions of dollars in their own pocket, not thinking about the money that we're spending from our taxes. So when we're employing these people, unfortunately, they have not been going the right direction. And now we have to at least charge what the other countries is charging because it's unfair to us. But then in the same category, when we're charging that, we're going to be hit with some fees on the back end because there's no way around it. These vehicle companies are not going to just swallow a 10% or 15% or 20% increase in price. So it's going to affect us in the short run. But in the long run, it is definitely a great way because we do need to bring the jobs to the United States. We need these factories in the United States because if we keep on sending jobs overseas, there's no way to really fix the problem. We're just creating more of a problem or a loophole for people to write it off of their taxes, which isn't going to benefit you or me. Do you think this will cause a second Great Depression? I'm thinking that this is definitely going to have a trade war attached to it because you're already seeing China retaliate, and unfortunately we have allowed China to build and make everything. I mean, these pillows here, I'm sure something, if not a lot of it, is from China. And we allowed this because we allowed tax breaks. And that's the sad thing because you're giving these multi-billionaires and conglomerates all these abilities to just save money and produce things cheaper. And then what happens, we have no factories here to produce anything, and we're stuck basically flipping the bill. And then on top of it, we're giving money away for free, and now we're adding the tariffs, which is what we should have done before. But now it's affecting us because we have to pay it up front. But like I said, in the long run, it's the best thing for our country because we need to build things here. Anthony, if I remember correctly, we were charging tariffs at least to Japan in the 80s. The issue that has happened, James, is like we've always charged in the trading, there's always been charges, but we don't really increase. Whereas these countries will increase. What we're doing is we offset things by saying, you know what, we're going to give a tax break to the people of the United States because we're sending the job overseas. So that's helping the billionaire or millionaire here, but it's not helping me or you. And then what's happening is we're building or making more production in China and other countries in which they're saying, you know what, well, we have to hire more workers, so we're going to add a little bit more in the tariff. Well, they're adding and adding and adding. That's why their tariffs in other countries have increased more than ours because we haven't actually met the same requirements in their tariff charge. Hold on. Who's going to work these factory jobs if doesn't even these people pick our fruit? So that's another thing. Like whenever you're talking about the factories, it's a great point. A lot of people understand that we personally, like an American person, they don't want to be in the fields picking out tomatoes, picking out lettuce. They just don't. We use Spanish, we use Mexican, we use a lot of their produce and bring it here because it's cheaper, because the American people want $15, $20 an hour to pick the same fruits or vegetables. The problem with this is it's going to increase the price, but you're going to have the increase in the wage as well. So it should offset, but you're going to expect to pay more money because there's no way around it. So your tomatoes, your fruits, your milk, everything's going to go up because you're now paying somebody $10 to $15 or $20 depending on the state, and then depending on the wage that they are getting. So in order to make America to what it should be, where you're adding everything, it's going to deflate the dollar. That's the negative that's going to come out of it. So I was in Mexico a few months, maybe a monthish ago. When I went to Walmart, I spent 300 and some pesos, which is like $16, $17 US. Well, expect to spend $300, $400 for basically what I bought there. Like water, we bought an orange juice, we bought a mug, and just a couple other items. So it's going to devalue the dollar. There's no way around it. But the way that can offset that is by paying back the deficit or giving something that actually holds value to the dollar. Because like if you go to England, the pound is backed by something. We're not backed by nothing. We're backed by paper. So when you're making it, it literally lowers the value also. So when you start implementing all this stuff, that's why there isn't much value. Hence, like a pack of gum is probably what, about 40 cents now? It used to be 25 cents for 5 piece. Or if you want to buy a bottle of water, for instance, you're going to pay about $1 to $2, depending on the grocery store. If you go to a filling station, you can pay $2 to $3. That's the reason why you're paying these increases in price. We're favored of tariffs, but are they going to start manufacturers more here in the U.S.? The plan is to start more factories in the United States. But you know they're not going to go to places like Detroit where they already have the actual facilities. All they'd have to do is clean it up. They're going to acquire land, and they're going to try to buy it in the cheapest areas possible to buy the land, which will take 6 months to a year preferably. And then it's going to take another year to 2 years to build the facility. So this is where the problem lays, because yes, you're going to have the companies building the factories, but you're not going to have the factories up that's going to hire the thousands of people. And if you've been looking, you can also see the robots are starting to take over plants overseas to also help offset the tariff. So they're going to have little guidelines in between them that's going to push whenever the bill gets all done and said. I know that right now it's already in action, but ultimately they will make a bill, which the bill will include things that they can offset stuff. So therefore, if they're using robots, maybe they won't even pay a tariff, because if the robot was made in America, well, even if it's overseas, maybe it's like you pay half the price or something, because they always have some kind of way or a credit so you can get away from these tariffs or any bills that's implemented. Can expand trade. It can. That definitely can help with trade. I'm not saying it won't, but ultimately what we're facing now is the prices will be going up in the next few months in the auto industry. So my recommendation, if you're looking for a vehicle, I would start shopping around, especially if you're looking to lease something, because the prices, they can increase the prices per dealership just because they know that people are looking to buy. There isn't any bylaws or any laws that can make them say, you know what, we can't add an extra $5,000, $10,000 on MSRP like they did in COVID. And that's the big scare tactic right now, because dealerships will start doing that if they start seeing an increase of sales. You are so right, Anthony. This process is by no means a quick fix. I hope it works out. Yes. What's the chance of a recession in 2025? I don't necessarily see a recession. I see that everybody, the way I like to express economics is everyone has their own economics. So for instance, if you're okay, you have a job, you're able to pay your bills, it's not going to affect you. Now, affecting the United States, there's going to be things that's going to affect it, but in the same category, people are still buying. So yes, you're seeing the stock market dip. But if you have a 401k, why would you pull it out now anyways? You want to wait till you're 55 and a half. That's when you retire. You shouldn't even be looking at your 401k right now because there's nothing you can do about it. You have it managed more or less. It's stupid that people are like, oh, I'm going to pull my money out, pull my money out. It's a retirement. You're not doing it for today or tomorrow. You're doing it for years down the road. So maybe when you're like a year or two into retirement, then start looking at that. But right now, most of the people that have 401ks, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. This message is hid from, I don't know why it's hid. Let me see. We're going to show what the message says. Oh, it's in another language. Unfortunately, I can't check what you're saying because it's in a completely different language. I'm sorry. This week we did increase our channel where we now have a ton of different languages. So if you speak a different language and don't understand English, we should have all the languages implemented. Let me know if anything isn't going through. I've been working with the YouTube team very diligently this whole week to make sure that we're bringing all the different languages. So Spanish, German, Portuguese, every single language should be on every video that we have for review for the newer vehicles. Now for the older reviews, we are trying to go back to fix all those as well. That's another big update that we did this week. You said earlier if our nation debt gets lower or dollar gets more value. No. So if the debt can go lower, that can bring the dollar value up more. The reason why is because you're not going to be printing out money. Right now, we're printing out money to pay off the debt, which we haven't been doing that actually for a little while, thank God. So let me sidetrack that. So when you're paying back anything, that starts bringing back value to your dollar. But on top of that, you also have to create the jobs to offset different things too. Otherwise, everything is going to keep increasing in price. So economics is a little bit, it can be tricky and confusing. That's why I say instead of looking at it at global, you need to start also looking at it as personal. So if it's not affecting you, then don't be so concerned about a recession and try not to be watching the news so much about 401ks and this and that in the stock market unless you're doing day trades. If you're doing day trades, then yes, be really concerned with it. The dollar value has decreased over the past few weeks. I'm sure everybody notices that as well. But in the same category, we're hoping to get about a 20% surplus this year with some of the job cuts. Now, the other negative, which there's positive and negative. So the positive is we have cut a lot of fat in the United States to pay back some of the debt. The negative is we cut the fat, but we haven't created a job. So the issue with that is the people that have lost the job, where are they going to work? And yes, I know on the other side of the coin also, some of these people are new to those jobs, so they can get another job. But the issue that I'm seeing online that I've been researching is there's a lot of displacement and not having the opportunity to get a job. Hence, that's why they work for a government job. And the same thing with the factories. Are you going to buy a 2025 QX60? Right now we are. So Infinity did get back to me. And they said that I could do the buyback. They offered me, basically, I have to pay $18,000 in usage. I got $2,000 loyalty, so they're taking that back plus 16 grand of usage. So I said, what would the difference be if I just did a trade for the 2025? And they said usage. They didn't explain what usage means, so I'm still in works with them about that. But now we're actually at the debating or negotiation stage. So hopefully the negotiation stage usually takes about a week or two, and I'm hoping that it kind of finishes up that way. If a deal doesn't come through with me and Infinity, then I'm thinking I'm going to just do an extended warranty, have them pay for it, and maybe give me a couple grand for all the back and forth. That's probably the best bet for me, because if I go 2025, I'm losing 16 grand plus every year Infinity and every automotive industry goes up. So it wouldn't make sense to trade the vehicle, because then I would only have maybe 50 some thousand dollars. The car is $72,000. So you could see I would be paying another 20 grand. I only owe 8,000 on mine. It would make no sense to pay $30,000 for a new one that has a VC turbocharged engine when I got a naturally aspirated V6 and I only owe 8 grand. So right now we're kind of seeing what they're going through with that. Yes, Elon Musk is going to be leaving. So that is going to I don't know if it's going to change anything with people that own Teslas, but I mean, everyone sees when you're hired for a job, it can affect everything that you do in the back end. So everything that he was doing with Tesla and X, it's obviously made it not so happy for owners and people looking for it because we have cut jobs in the United States. Whether it's good or bad, it's irrelevant. He was hired, but he wasn't really hired because he's doing it for free. My thing is he's doing it for the technology, because if he can get things like software implemented, like AI software for your taxes or for your 401k or for your anything at all, any type of retirement packages or anything that you're doing, then he's making money life for the rest of his life. So why wouldn't he donate his free time or any time to do whatever he's doing? That's what I'm thinking, but I don't have anything to back it. It's just something that to me would sound like common sense from somebody like Elon Musk. What's the ride quality on your QX60? My four has a 2018 one, and he says the new ride quality is terrible. So I have 22-inch wheels on my QX60. The ride quality is not good by any standards. I would say it's still a little bit better than like a BMW because that's a bit more sporty. And our seats, we have the aniline leather because we have the autograph. If you go underneath autograph, the seats are a little bit more firm. They're not as soft. Some people say they are. I'm just telling you from owner perspective, and I review the vehicles. But the ride quality is better if you don't do aftermarket wheels. You will hear road noise. Mercedes is going to be better quality for the ride than BMW. I would say Mercedes, Audi. BMW would be more of the sporty side. So if you really want to understand, I guess it would be more towards like BMW for the ride quality. It's not going to be performance driven like that. The seat comfort is going to be better. The massage seats are better in all of the Germans opposed to that. One thing though that I would like as a reminder is Hyundai and Genesis. So we integrated, we have a new Genesis team that we're going to go to next week. There was a subscriber, he asked if I could do a GV80 versus a G80. So the sedan versus SUV. Let me know if that's something that you guys want, because I'm going to be going there channel. Also, Hyundai and Genesis have said for 2 months they have a protection, so you don't have to worry about any increase in price. So I like that. But Kia was not on the actual information that I was looking at. So just if you're looking at Kia, they may increase the price, but Hyundai and Genesis is not going to. The big vehicles. Oh, okay. Now my phone seems to be back on. Oh, okay. Now my phone seems to be back onto place. Sorry about that. Somebody called me and it just kind of threw it off. Also, insurance companies, they are going to increase about 19%. So if you are shopping around for insurance, I would recommend that you lock it in the next coming months, because you could see a tick of 19% increase on auto insurance companies, which is crazy. And another big surprise, we actually bought a vehicle. We bought one last week. It actually this week we bought it. We put the down payment. It's going to be coming from Italy, so you guys know that it's something exotic and cool. I'm going to do a reveal of the vehicle when it's here. Hopefully it's here on Friday, so that way you guys can see it. I'm going to probably take some pictures and we'll talk more about it on the next live stream, but we're going to keep it as a secret. I'm considering doing another channel specifically for that vehicle, so if it's something that you guys think is cool, let me know, because this channel, I like to keep it really just with the vehicles that we review. We should do this QA on more days. All right, yeah, let me know. I'm considering to change the day, because sometimes Saturday has been a little bit tough for us, because like we were shopping today, getting some groceries, and I had to kind of hustle back to do the live stream. So if there's another day also, let us know that we can also change that as well. Is the cost of living ever going to decrease, or are we going to see it? So the cost of housing, that is a great question. The way the house market works, I try to know knowledge about a lot of different things. So I also work with some brokers, so this is how I know this information. When the interest rate is up, the houses are less. When the interest rate is high, the houses are more. Or wait, when the interest rate is less, the houses are high. When the interest rate is more, the houses are lower. So that's usually the way it goes. The issue that we're facing right now is the price of the houses have increased. They have been decreasing, but in certain thresholds of the market, they are expensive because people were buying them. So if you're in a higher price market, like 800,000 and higher, then it's actually cheaper because they have been decreasing 20, 50, and $100,000. Now, for houses that are 400, or 500,000 or 300,000, they haven't seen a huge decrease because people are still buying them. I would say they will decrease, but it's going to be more towards the back end, and don't expect much more than probably, and this is like the 300 to 400,000, probably like $20 to $40,000, which is a huge decrease in price, but I wouldn't think much more than that. If you're in an $800,000 house, I would say probably you might see $100,000 decrease. Awesome, Anthony. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, I thank you very much, James. Is the new car revealed on Friday going to replace? No, this is our third car. So we're going to have a third car. The Maserati right now that I currently own is in the shop. We're doing some touch-up paint work, which has taken over a week to do. Kind of surprising, but that's what they said, that it takes a long time for exotics. So that was another reason why we're considering to just keep the Infiniti, because at this point, it doesn't make sense to get rid of the Infiniti if they're only going to give us $45,000, $50,000, because then when you go to buy a new vehicle, any vehicle, I mean, everything's like more than $60,000, $70,000, and when you only owe $8,000, it wouldn't make sense to spend another $20,000 on a vehicle. Give us some hints. So it is a convertible and it's a 2-seat. That's the biggest hint that I can give you guys for the car. It is an exotic car. It's a rare vehicle as well. It was I actually went because we were looking at a Lamborghini Huracan, a RSQ8, and the SQ8, as well as some Porsches. So when we were looking at those, no, it's not a Ferrari. That would be awesome. Ferrari F50. That's actually my favorite vehicle. When I came for service at one of my dealerships, I talked to an old, not an old person, but he's an old friend of mine, and he lives in Costa Rica. He said, I can get you a deal on this vehicle, and he can sell it to me kind of like wholesale. So that's more or less the way we did it, and we're putting the sale onto the team that I work with. But they don't even know like the car. Like, I went to sign the papers to get the vehicle to be sent from port to here. And it was funny because they're saying, oh, it's this color. I said, no, it's not. I bought this color. So then I called the guy and he's like, they don't know nothing about the deal, so don't even worry about it. You look like you're in your 30s. How old are you? So I am out of my 30s now, unfortunately. That's the most I can say. I hit the next digit, but God bless. Whenever I bought this next vehicle that's coming Friday, which we're going to actually leave it at the showroom floor for probably a couple of weeks so we could clean up the garage. I need to get a new shed so that way we can fit the third car. It's not a C8. That's another reason why I'm going to just do some pictures and some quick showing of the vehicle. But like I said, probably going to do a different channel for it. I will do a review to put it on this channel. Just most of the stuff will be on a separate channel. Also, I recently got a Acura MDX Tech. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. The MDX, and you got a 25, so you got the touch screen. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, I still feel young. When I was buying this vehicle, my sales guy, because I've bought 3 vehicles now from him, he said, I've been following you now for about 10 years. And he said, you've lived in this complex. He was just like stating like all the achievements. And I was like, I was really happy to see that, he was noting these things down, because like it also makes you feel good because you transition, and this is by far the most expensive vehicle we've ever purchased. So we're excited, but we're nervous because this is literally 3 times the price we've ever paid for a vehicle. Unpopular option, but C8s are better than, yes, the C8s are really great vehicles. And right now, because Chevy just did some really crazy things in the back end, which I feel the tariffs are going to do the same thing, in the sense of where they've raised the price, they'll end up decreasing the price. So if they do raise the price, that $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, maybe hold off 6 months to a year. Because look at Chevy, what they did with the Corvette. They allowed dealers to increase the price 10, 20, 50, some cases $100,000. You can now get a Corvette, I think a few days ago I looked at it, $58,000. Less money than MSRP you can get a Corvette. That is crazy. That's because Chevy screwed themselves, and because of that, you can now get a deal. They have over 5,000 Corvettes that you can get under MSRP right now. Yo, man, lots of love from India. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I got okay. So you not very happy with the Lincoln? I'm assuming mine was 70s. Yeah, 70,000. I mean, so with Lincoln and Cadillac, I've done a lot of work with Cadillac. You guys have seen some of the pictures, and I'm bringing some more. I have the Escalade IQ coming to the channel. Made in China. Yeah. So that's what I was going to say to you. With the Lincoln, I would keep it because more than likely the tariffs are going to increase the price to it. And you could probably sell it in the pre-owned market because the pre-owned market is going to increase. So if you have a vehicle that's going to increase because of the tariffs, the $10, $12, $15,000, expect it to increase on the back end for the used car market. So you could get rid of that, but then just make sure when you get rid of it, you have a vehicle that hasn't been increased with tariffs. So I think you were talking about Genesis before. I'm pretty sure you said a few things. You may want to consider Genesis because they are not going to increase the price with the tariffs. So you could possibly get an extra $10,000, $15,000, meaning you breaking even or $5,000 appreciation in your Lincoln. And then you could trade that off for a G80 or a GV80, and you can have an awesome brand new vehicle for a fraction of the price. I would never pay six figures for a car, but just me saying I'm broke. So when I looked at this price, the reason why we got it is we got such a deal that I literally can drive it and sell it. And that's the way I like to purchase everything. I always tell people buy with equity, meaning don't buy where you have to pay that extra tax or what is it, where God forbid you have an accident and what is it, gap insurance. Don't buy a vehicle that you have to buy gap insurance. I buy vehicles that when I drive them off the lot, even if I wreck it, the insurance company is going to fix it because I own that much of it. That's the way you're supposed to buy, or you buy it outright. If you can't afford it, then buy the gap insurance so that way it covers everything. But if you're looking at a six-figure car, don't buy it unless you're getting a good deal because you drive off the lot, you're losing 30%. Now the car's worth 70 grand. Chances are they're going to offer you $60,000 for trade. So it's $40,000 you lost driving it off the lot. Now, if you sell it, you could potentially sell it for 70, 75,000 driving it off the lot. That's not a good deal by any means. You'd have to keep the vehicle for quite a while in order to make sense. Why no Chinese cars sold in U.S.? Heard these EVs are good. Yes. So BYD is an excellent vehicle. It's awesome. My wife actually sent me a bio, which I'll see if I can somehow put it. I'll put it in the Discord so that way you guys can check it out because sometimes YouTube has some crazy situations where they block things. I don't know why. They are an awesome vehicle. If they were to come to the US, Tesla would be hurting because you could buy those vehicles for like $7,000 to $10,000 US money. And they do great with range. Charging time is awesome. But like I was saying earlier, hydrogen vehicles are kind of the way the future should go because you could charge those just like a gasoline vehicle and you get better range. You could also tow more, meaning even payload. So even when you're filled up in the vehicle, meaning like you have 5 passengers and you have luggage in your cargo, you could drive those further distance than EVs. Can you say my name, please? Joseph. How are you today, Joseph? I like Genesis. Does the 3.5 turbo Prestige have, or the twin turbo, massage for the front seats in the second row? So the massage seats will be in the first row. I believe you can add a package, but the Prestige has it. The Prestige will have it standard. The second row does not offer massage seats. You have to go to Infiniti right now. Infiniti, Mercedes, BMW. BMW doesn't have it. Mercedes, I think the GLS, If you go Maybach, they have it. If you do not go Maybach, they don't have it. So the only vehicles you can get it would be Infiniti QX80. Genesis only going to have it in the first row. Maybach will have it in the second row. And that's it. Oh, no, if you go Land Rover will have it also. So if you go Land Rover Autobiography, you could get it as a package. If you go SV, then you can get it standard, but you're paying over $200,000, so it doesn't make sense. That's why the new QX80 is just an amazing vehicle, because not only the refresh, they give you the massage seats in the second row, they give you the biometrical seats for the second and first row, plus you get the zero gravity seats, which no company gives zero gravity seats. Now, when you go Genesis, you can get, gosh, what is it called? I was just at Hyundai 2 days ago. They have the same seats. I can't remember the name to it right now. It'll come. I'm sorry, I'm fasting. But it basically reads your posture, and as you're driving the vehicle for about 30 minutes, it will read and give you the best posture positions for your body, so you have basically zero gravity seats. QX80 has massage rear seats, GL580 doesn't, Cadillac doesn't, Lincoln, the new Navigator does, yes. 7 Series. I was talking about SUVs. So if you're going into sedans, yes, the 7 Series will have it, the G90 will have it. The G80, I don't think you can have it. I'll confirm this week with it because they just did a refresh. But there's a few vehicles. Also, the A8, you can get it. The S8, the S8 is by far my favorite. Performance is just amazing. Anyone looking for a luxury performance vehicle, S8 is the way to go, and that's Audi. I wish Genesis had it in the full-size SUV. It would be nice to see it. Also, Audi's new Q9. They are off the Q7. I believe they're going to have it in the second row. I'm not 100% because they haven't confirmed all the features and specs yet with it. But it should have it because it's competing against BMW and Mercedes. If it doesn't, I think it would just be kind of weird. X7 only has heated rear seats. Yes. All of, so Mercedes, BMW, Audi, all the rows have heated, but the second and first row can have ventilated, and depending on vehicle, you can have massage seat in the front. Range Rover Urus or Rolls-Royce Colin. So the Rolls-Royce, they're actually giving $100,000 off right now. You can get $100,000 off a brand new one, as well as Bentleys. So if you're looking at a Bentayga, you're from... No, I'm not. My parents are only from my first cousin. No, I was born in Bristol, Virginia, but I'm from New York because as soon as I was born, we moved to New York. So that's why the accent, and sometimes I talk fast and sometimes I talk slow. I also lived in Sacramento, California, so kind of all over the place, if that makes sense. Good evening, Sean. How are you? Have you heard exactly about Audi bringing the Q7? Yeah, so I actually just touched bases with it. A lot of the specs, they haven't actually put every detail out yet. Volkswagen, the whole team is having some issues because of the tariffs, which I was talking about at the beginning. They're kind of going to be hit with a lot of issues with the tariffs, and they're trying to bring a lot of the jobs or a lot of the factory work here to any plant that they have open, basically. But the Q9 is, they're going to have a V8 variant. They're going to have a 6 and a turbo 4, from my understanding. That could change, though, because, again, with everything, with the way it's going, plus the 2025.5 models that are coming to the U.S., what's happening with Volkswagen is really, it's sad because in Europe, they've done the refresh. We're not getting a lot of the refresh until a year or a year and a half later, which is also making the decrease in sales. And even the Q5, which is their number one seller, the Q3, Q5s, they sell a ton of them. It's just taken a long time to get these refresh here. Yes, we have them now, but I mean, look at the A5, and I know Sean's been looking at it. The A5, we're still not, it's coming now 2025.5, and it's going to be badged that way, or a 23. So we're still about 2 months out from getting it. They shouldn't even be sending over 2025 models here. I had somebody actually in the comments say this is not a 2025. It is. North America just is not getting the updated vehicles from Volkswagen, and it's sad. Going back to the question, which one would I go to? I would probably go to the Urus because it kind of holds the value the best out of the Rolls-Royce and Range Rover, and I think that was the only three choices they gave me. Why have you moved all over to Seattle and Florida? So when I was younger, we just moved over quite a bit. My father, I really don't know why. When we moved to New York, we moved because a lot of our family's from there. And then we moved directly to California. So when we moved to Sacramento, and then we moved to Washington. And from there, my father's mother, so my grandmother, said that the family was going to disown us. We're kind of the old thinking family. So we had to move back to New York, which we moved literally like immediately. And then from there, we moved all over, and we ultimately are now in Florida. So Tampa, Florida, we live. And we've been here now for, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years, well, quite a while. I didn't graduate school here. I graduated in Southridge, Miami, which is kind of the ghetto, if anyone knows Miami, Southridge. And I went to school with it was a third-party Penn State college, which I paid off. I dropped out of college and opened up restaurants because I started talking to him, and I saw that college is literally, for me, was for just paying money, and I didn't get anywhere. If you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, something that makes sense, go to college. But you can also start your own business, and that's what I did. I ended up opening 4 restaurants, and I sold them, and then I ended up becoming an influencer, which I do this now full-time, and some of the automotive industry pays me, but I do non-biased reviews. Even the companies that pay me, I still say good and bad things. Nobody knows they pay me because that's the way I review the vehicle. I review it as if I would buy it. So when I get into the vehicle, the way I do them, I don't even look at the MSRP until I literally get inside the vehicle, because some of the companies give me full access to get the keys. So I get inside the vehicle. I know the spec that I'm reviewing. I touch and feel. I turn on the sound system. I drive it. Then I look at the sticker to see if I could swallow the price, and then I give my non-biased review of the vehicle. And where are we at? Sean, 2026. Sean, you should join the Discord. Yeah, Sean, join the Discord if you get a chance. Anybody here, join the Discord. I have it up. I'm trying to get a BYD vehicle in the U.S. I mean, those are awesome. Like I said, if BYD was here, I don't know how Tesla would exist, because they get great range. The charging time is a little bit faster, and pricing. I mean, it's so inexpensive. I would purchase one for 7 to 10 grand all day long. Would you move back to Cali if you could? We have thought about moving back to California. My wife actually said we should move, but the cars that we have, especially the new one, it's an exotic and it has a loud exhaust. The first thing I already told my wife and kids, I said, listen, when we drive this vehicle, more than likely we're going to get pulled over. So just be cautious, because when I bought my first Maserati and my second Maserati, I was pulled over multiple times just to see who's driving the vehicle. They wanted to check the exhaust, check this, check that. Just, it's ridiculous. And California, unfortunately, is a little bit more hardcore about these things. And driving in certain areas, you can get in trouble. So I would probably have to go to somebody to lower the exhaust note, which is the whole reason why I bought these vehicles. I'm from LA. That's why I'm broke. I mean, even Tampa, like, these houses they're crazy. $800,000, $1 million. Where I live, the average house is basically 800 to about 1.5 million. And we didn't buy at those prices. Whether you have $1 or you have $1 million, it doesn't make sense why wood is costing this much money. And I understand, we're not getting a lot of the resources here. But even if we were to get the resources here, I mean, it's going to cost more money. So I think that we really need to somehow integrate something where it makes sense, because all we're doing is lowering the dollar value. A vehicle should not cost $50,000, not unless it has a ton of horsepower and it's something truly special. That's why sometimes even in my reviews, you'll see me say on like the M340i, I used to love those vehicles and say it's a sweet spot, and it truly is. But now they're up to over $70,000. A sweet spot to me is like $50,000, $60,000 for that price once you start going $70,000. But because the times we're in, I have to just eat it, because literally everything has went up in price. So you can't really you can't complain about the price because everyone's paying it, and now this is the new standard of pricing. I've been looking for a Toyota GR86. That is awesome vehicle. Very fun vehicles, the 86. I have a few reviews on them. We did the special edition. We did two of those, I think last year, and we also did this year. What was it? What was it? There was a special edition this year. We actually got the red one and the white one, and we did a comparison against some of them. Awesome vehicle. You have a lot of fun to it. It's not necessarily that fast, but it does feel fast because you sit low to the ground, and because it's a manual, I think you'll just enjoy it a little bit more so. My phone is dying, so I have to go. I did charge it before I went onto the live stream, but Apple, you know how they are. Cali has too many regulations. That's the issue that I have with California. We do have some partners that we were linking up with, so we are still thinking about doing some works over there, and going around the country too. Just where we purchased this vehicle, it's going to take probably a couple more weeks before we get it, because it's going to come hopefully next week in the showroom, and then maybe 2 weeks we're going to have an actual party at our house. So most of the dealership is coming. I have my friends coming as well. We have a lot of people that's going to be coming and attending. We're going to actually have them deliver the vehicle and drop it off. So we're going to have some drone work and stuff done. So I'll probably do a live stream that day of the vehicle being dropped off. So that way everybody can see it. And you guys will know what it is next week too. Pensacola isn't ghetto. I mean, that's the capital. So I actually drove by over there before. It's kind of nice. I mean, every area has some good and bad areas. Dang, you're from the same Rady's Rides, Joe, you know him. I actually ran into Rady's Rides once at a Subaru dealer. I sit inside my car. I was going to go out and talk to him, but I thought, you know what, he's doing his work. And since he was at the same dealer I was going to, I actually left maybe 5 minutes afterwards, because I was like, I don't want to be involved or, hurt anyone else's reviews. So, I'm assuming he finished up his review at Subaru that day, because he was already doing a car that day. So I just left. I've heard that the GR86 is a great vehicle to learn. Try driving a manual. Yeah, it is. It's very easy to do heel to toe on that vehicle. It's simple. You'll have absolutely no problems. And it's a lot of fun because the new variants, the RPM goes up to, I think, 6,500 or 7,500 RPM, which is crazy. The only downfall to it is it's literally like, woo, woo, like that. That's because it's not a turbo. But it's a fun vehicle when you're driving it because there's a lot of engagement. Another fun vehicle is the GR Corolla. I actually did one recently. I just don't like that Turbo 3 because it has some people have had some issues with it, and it's a smaller engine. It would have just been awesome if they would have put a Turbo 4 in there instead of the Turbo 3, so you don't have to worry about a smaller engine with all that displacement. I mean, when you're thinking per cylinder, it's a lot of freaking power. 300 horsepower, that's a lot. I mean, it's crazy for a three-cylinder engine. And the same thing with the Chevy Trax. I've had a lot of people put comments about it like, oh, you know what, they're vehicles that's not going to last. I mean, it's hard to get a vehicle in the 20s or $22,000 price point. So the way I look at it is kind of like you want a Sony TV, but you went Vizio. You know what I mean? You know the quality that you have, so you really can't complain about it. Enjoy it and just maintain the vehicle. But going back to it, the GR86, awesome vehicle. I highly recommend it. I actually told my son to get one. It's just he doesn't like it because he's also tall like me. He's almost taller than me now, so it makes it a little bit harder to get in and out. And somebody like me to get it, I don't want people to say I'm in like a midlife crisis. I'm not that old, but still, I don't want people to say that. So, it's a fun vehicle. If you're in the $30,000 price point, look at one of those. The Hyundai Elantra N, I reviewed that. The review is coming online as well soon. Awesome vehicle. The heel to toe is a little bit more tricky because of the way the pedals are placed, and it's also a little bit more tight. So learning how to drive on that vehicle can be a little bit more difficult opposed to like a Honda or a Toyota product. So just as a cross shot between those. Going back to Audi news, the electric variants, they are all going to be, the e-tron, the e-tron, gosh, what was it? I have it wrote down. It's going to have right at 600-mile range. So I like what Audi is doing because they're actually bringing range into the equation. I just wish that they would do something a little bit more so for the charging time, meaning get it quicker. They're not doing anything yet in that field, and because of the way the administration has changed, I'm thinking that's going to probably stay in the longer distance of changing, meaning like when you go to a gas station, it takes like 5 minutes to pump. Well, when you go to to fill up your electric variant, it could take 15, 20, 30 minutes. It could take an hour. It just depends on what you're getting for the charge, plus if the charge is actually getting that capabilities. Alex Hawkeye. Oh, sorry. I thought I said Alex. That's my brother's name. Also, I went to Pensacola 2 weeks ago and it seemed ran down. So, can you give us a decision of your car coming Friday? So the for the Pensacola thing, unfortunately, Florida hasn't been like updating a lot of stuff. So some of the areas isn't as clean as it should be. Again, there is areas that's clean, and each area is similar to California, similar to anywhere in the United States. And it's sad that they do this, that they kind of don't keep it up to par, but that's basically the way the US is. The upcoming, so I have to first make sure that it comes on Friday. So if I know 100% that it's here on Friday, then I will let everybody know in the community tab that I will be doing the reveal of the vehicle there, because I have to go see the car before I sign to pick it up. We've already given the down payment, so we do own the car. It's just, you have to sign, and then I'm going to leave it there for a couple weeks. Electric cars are terrible for road trips. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, if you have to wait to charge, I have some team members that have electric vehicles, and they're like, it's really not that bad. It isn't if you're okay with waiting, 45 minutes to up to 2 hours, depending on the charge, depending on the model. It isn't that bad. But you obviously get used to it as you own it. Are you speaking firsthand EV experience? I'm speaking from my teams that told me. So I have a couple team members from BMW that he owns a iX M60i, and he said he drove it. He was going to go to New York. He ended up stopping in Virginia, and I think somewhere around that area he ended up stopping. So, yeah, 3 EVs. Oh wow. He stopped he stopped in Virginia area, and he said that it took him maybe 3-4 stops, or maybe an hour-ish. But for him, he has 3 kids, so it actually worked out. But he said normally he wouldn't have stopped like that, because you figured he added an additional, say, an hour per stop. So what, 3-4 hours extra on top. Virginia, from where we're at, which I'm assuming he lives within, I think he lives only maybe 20 minutes from me. So with that being in the equation, Virginia, where he went, is like 14 hours. So it took him at least 18, 19 hours. You sold them or traded them. Ethan, how did you like the Lyric? Yeah, how did you like the Lyric? I've seen quite a bit of them. We obviously done some. BMW was an E40. Okay. You had the Mach-E. Wow. You had the GT. Okay. You had the Lyric 2024 Luxury 2. So you had some features. Wow. So you've been through quite a few cars. That's awesome. Lyric is a nice SUV. I loved it since it's luxury and mine isn't fully loaded. Okay. Yeah, the Lyric, it's an awesome vehicle, especially all the lights in the grille. They're obviously integrating that on all of their Cadillacs now for the EVs, like the new Escalade EQ. My son loved it. Issa was amazed with it, but again, which even the range actually was good. I think it was right at 400-mile range is what Cadillac is quoting for the new Escalade IQ. And charging, it isn't the best, but they say that you can get like 100 miles in 15 minutes or something, or 5 minutes, something that it depends on the charge, obviously. Sean, you guys should join the Discord. I saw an IQ yesterday. The IQ, I think the review, I have it coming in the next couple days. I thought it was coming today or tomorrow, but tomorrow I have a BMW 330i, so the base model, but I believe it has the M package. We did it a few weeks back with a M340i, and I think the Escalade IQ, I have it scheduled for the next coming days. I'm not exactly sure, because I thought it was coming tomorrow, but This is the link from Hawkeye, sir. Oh, thank you. I can't post any links. I can only read what you guys put and say. I talk to YouTube because we've been having some subscribers saying that they have not been getting their comments. So if you guys haven't had any comments post, let me know. Maybe double post a comment so that way I can take a picture of it, because if it doesn't post, I'm not erasing any comments. YouTube is going through some issues with their algorithm right now, and they said it's not just my channel, it's other people as well. But it helps if they can kind of pinpoint so that way they can see from the algorithm why it tagged that person. Because maybe it's tagging you, and say you're with another channel, it's doing the same thing. Well, we can hopefully fix that. And then, like I said also at the beginning, we have now integrated the dubbing. So every vehicle that has been posted, I think in the past couple of weeks, should be in every language in the world. That's according to YouTube. I talked to them on Friday. It was only showing on 2 languages, so Spanish and English, but that should be fixed now. So if you speak another language, I have some Canadians that's been asking me, as well as Arabs that's been asking me for different languages. It should be on the channel now. So just, it'll have like a drop down and you just pick it and it'll change the language, and it should be in my voice, which is kind of cool. We also teamed up with 11 Labs. So we did it with 3 different vehicles just to try it out. So if you haven't seen the new Honda Passport, you could see that in Spanish, and we did it through 11 Labs. It's actually pretty cool. It didn't do the dubbing with my lips. I don't know why, so we have to talk to them and see what's going on. My lyric is there. Yeah, I did see you did post quite a bit of pictures of vehicles. I was thinking, where are all these vehicles from? So now I know that you owned them and you've been trading them. So you kind of go through a lot of vehicles. That's awesome. I usually keep vehicles for quite a while. Like my last Infiniti, we kept it 9 years. This second Maserati we own, I've kept it 8 years. It's going on 9 years. The new car, I don't know how long we're going to keep. And like I said, I will let you guys know the new car. We're keeping it a secret until I can get some pictures. I'll post it. And when I post it, I will also let you guys know if it's this Friday that we'll do. It'll be kind of like a quick lives, because unfortunately, the live stream, it would be in the dealership, and I usually have to do carpooling that day, so it kind of makes it a little bit harder. So we should be back on schedule for Saturday's live stream. We're going to, what model was your previous Infiniti? It was a QX60 also. It was a 2024 model. 2024. It was all blacked out. We had these same wheels. We actually just changed the wheels and we powder coated the calipers. I posted on the Discord the Infiniti. But I don't know if you got it or not. I posted it. Let me know so that way I can see maybe I posted in the wrong area. It's a 2023. We're going to finish up the live stream this week. Thank you guys for coming out. Check out the membership and also the Discord, because we're going to try to do some more stuff on the Discord as well. The reason why we didn't get to do a lot of the stuff on the Discord this past week, like I said, is we're adding the more languages. But please check it out. The more people that go on it, we're going to start checking it out and adding some more things. And you can also chat with me through there. You can also do it through our website, but you could do it the other way. And if you missed the beginning, check back, rewind, however you do it. So that way you can see all the tariff information that we went through. Have a great day, Sean, James, Ethan, everybody else. And like I said, please join the Discord, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend.